Hello to you! So happy to see you on our YouTube channel here at Improov. I'm Sandrine Grassard and I'm really pleased to welcome you here. We got some great videos to show you. This next one's really exceptional. I hope you enjoy watching this video as much as we had fun making it for you. Remember, you can subscribe to this channel to get all the other videos that we're coming out with on a regular basis. Make sure you don't forget to hit that bell so that you get notified, and give us a little like, of course, if you like it. And then we'll just play the video now so that you can enjoy it and learn how to be more efficient, how to save time, and how to enjoy life that much more. Hi, and welcome to concept number 3 of this 4th module on technology. Today we're going to focus on the importance of having a dashboard in Outlook so that we can optimize our view and know exactly what we have to do when. So if you're not using Microsoft Outlook and you're using another type of software, basically the concepts are the same. So just make sure that whether you're using a paper format or a Google or anything else that you're using to keep track of your tasks and your agenda, make sure that you have an agenda that has a task section on the side where you can list what you want to get done for the week. So you should have your week format and then have your list that allows you to write all your tasks in the margin on each page. If you want to have a paper agenda that's daily, that's fine, but you'll find that it's actually easier if you have a week view with your tasks for the week than if you have a daily view and each day you have to turn the pages and keep turning back and forth between, oh, what do I want to do on Thursday? Oh, well, what do I want to do on next Monday? Or what am I doing today? And then what does my day look like tomorrow? It won't give you as much of a overview. So you'll notice that when we get into Outlook, because we're going to demonstrate this today, we're going to basically show you a video that's part of our Outlook Advanced course. And that video is about 8-9 minutes long, maybe 10 minutes. And in that one, you'll see that we're going to show you how to build your dashboard in Microsoft Outlook. And that's actually part of the full course. Now, like I said, if you're using another software, just try to replicate the same information that it's going to present to you. And you have homework at the end of this concept. So first things first, you're going to create your dashboard in Outlook or in your equivalent. You're going to put your weekly tasks in the system. So make sure you look at all your tasks you're planning on accomplishing this week. If it's the end of the week, well, just do whatever days are left and make sure they're in your system. And then your third task will be to integrate Outlook into your weekly planning. So you remember when you're doing that planning phase, integrate the Outlook into that, or your system that you're putting in place, if it's paper or if it's something else. So I hope that's really clear. I wish you lots of fun in the video. When you're watching this video coming up now, just remember that you can pause, and the ideal way of looking at it is you watch what I'm going to tell you to do, you pause, you do it simultaneously in your system, and then you watch the next step and do it at the same time. Really take it slowly so you don't forget anything, because you will have a better built dashboard at the end. So thanks a lot. See you on the next video. And you'll see, you're going to feel like, wow, this is so organized. It's going to feel so good. So see you soon. Thanks. Hey, this is the video that you've been waiting for about how to completely configure your dashboard in Outlook so that you have all your tasks in one place. Everything you have to do in a hub, really available for you, right next to your agenda, right next to your emails. You can absolutely see this dashboard all the time, every time you're working in Outlook. So let's dig right in and start working on it to configure it. When you open your Outlook, you will see that one of the elements that's missing is, of course, you have your agenda here, but you don't have your tasks. So to have your tasks show up, you can either add it in your access bar here, so you can add it in your quick access toolbar, or you can go into view here and then into the to-do bar. And if you select tasks, then you'll see that's how you bring it or you make it disappear. So you can bring it this way as I just showed you, or you can go to this button here and remove it and bring it back. So I'll show you how to add this. I'm going to remove it right now, and then I'm going to show you how to do it. So your bar might actually be above the ribbon. And there's another video on this to tell you exactly how to configure this toolbar. But the quick access toolbar, I will just show you how to make it below. So if you go here to show below the ribbon, now it's going to show up here. The advantages of putting it here are twofold. First of all, the buttons will appear in color. And secondly, you are not limited with the search bar and you can have a lot of buttons. So now if we want to add the tasks so I can toggle them on or off, I will go to the to-do bar here, still in the view menu. So we're in the view menu. We go to the to-do bar. And then here, I'm going to right click, not left, right click on tasks and add to quick access toolbar. There. So you see now I'm going to make them appear and then I make them disappear. Okay, so now that I have this to-do bar appear, I can widen it here like this. I put my mouse right there and I widen it. And as you can see, this isn't very helpful. When you see a list of tasks like this, it's actually quite overwhelming and you're like, well, this doesn't give me really what I have to do. So what you need to do is we need to configure it and make it work for ourselves. So what we're going to do first and foremost is we're going to actually focus on the columns that we want to choose. So we're going to actually change the columns that are there. So we're going to use our right button on our mouse. Once you right click in this area here, you're going to want to click on View Settings. We're going to go here a lot, okay? So we're going to go to View Settings, and right now we're going to go and choose the different columns that we want. What you want to know here is that the columns you're going to be looking for are the ones that are going to give you the best information on the tasks that are at hand. So you're going to want to know what the task object is, of course. That will also end up doubling up as an email object. So if you've dragged and dropped an email in there, it'll have the object of the email. You're going to want to have your start date. I was about to say due date because a lot of people think we're going to go by due date, but we're not. We don't want to have a task appear when they're due. We want to have the task appear when I'm going to start working on it so that I give myself enough time to complete it before the due date. So we're going to use our start date. Then we're going to have information like the category that we're going to apply to it. And we will cover that in another video later on. And as you'll see that there's a whole logic behind the category. Then we're going to have another column that's called in folder. And this will make sense to you as we move along. But right now we're just really building the dashboard. So we're going to focus on building it. And we'll have a few other elements that we're going to choose. So we're going to go back into the column chooser, field chooser for the columns, and set those up. Okay, so here when you click on columns, you're going to see there's a whole list right here. What we want to do is we want to hit the remove button and just start with a clean slate. So we're going to go remove, 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 and just keep clicking remove until you have absolutely nothing left. Once it's clean and empty, what you want to do is start with the first field that you want to add in the columns. So the first one we're going to go to is we're going to choose here, instead of frequently used fields, we're going to choose all mail fields. You're going to scroll down in alphabetical order and you're going to choose in folder. So you're going to select in folder, you can add it. Now you see it's gone from left to right. So you won't see in folder in the left anymore because now the field is here. Then we're going to go back into this select available column from here, and we're going to actually go up a little bit, scroll up with your mouse and choose the frequently used fields. And we're going to go in alphabetical order, choose the ones that we need. So the first one we need is categories. So you see I double clicked. Instead of clicking it and then clicking add, you can just double click it and it'll go from left to right. The second one from this list that we want to choose is actually the one called complete. So we're going to double click on that. Then we're going to go get the icon, double click on that. Then we're going to scroll down and we're going to get the P for priority. We're going to go down to the S for start date. And then finally, we're going to go underneath status and go to subject, which is the subject of the email or of the task. So we're going to hit OK. We're going to hit OK. And now you're going to see what this looks like. Unfortunately, this isn't well organized because you see everything's kind of in the wrong order. So we're going to go back in. We're going to right click again here. We're going to go into our view settings and we're going to go into the columns again. And now we're going to organize them, and we want the order to be the following. So we want the icon, so you can move it up like this using the move up button. And we want priority. I can just grab the priority and bring it up, like drag it up. We want the subject to be next, drag that up. We want the start date next, category, in folder, and complete. So it should say icon, priority, subject, start date, categories, in folder, complete. So I'll let you look at this for a second. You can also pause it so you can see what it looks like. And we're going to hit OK, and we're going to hit OK again. So you see now I have my columns in the right order. I can resize them a little bit because they're really not properly sized yet. And I can really go exactly the way I want them so that I can actually read my subject properly. And I can resize this whole toolbar so it doesn't take so much room. Okay, so now that I've done that, there's still a problem. The problem is that I can't really see what I have to do today, tomorrow, and next week. It's showing me, once we go back, you'll see it's showing me all my tasks that I've already done. It's showing me just a bunch of stuff that's not very, very, very powerful to help me stay organized and optimize my dashboard. So let's go back in and continue configuring. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually right-click again in this section, go back into my view settings. We're going to focus now on the filter. We want to filter these so that my task dashboard actually shows me what my tasks are for this week, and that's it. I don't want to see anything else. I don't want to see what I'm going to have to do in a few months, because if I show you this now, if I go back to cancel and I say, okay, I have to do my taxes and they're due, let's say they're due, because I have a business and I have to do my quarterly taxes with my business, and they're due on the 30th of June. Well, 30th of June is when it ends, and I have to hand them in by the 15th. So I'll say, okay, on the 10th, I got to start my taxes of July. I don't want to see my tax, what I have to do this far in advance. Like, I'm not it's not important for me to know today what I have to do in a couple of months. So what I want to do is I want to make sure that here I'm only seeing what I have to do, not what's already done, and something that's actually close in the future. Just like if I were a pilot flying an airplane, I don't want to see 300 miles out. I only want to see the next 20 miles, the next 30 miles. What's my next destination before I change my heading? What's my next airport nearby? What's happening close by? What's the weather coming up? I don't want to know what's going to happen in 3 hours from now. So same thing here. You want to just stay focused on the near future. All right. So what do? Well, we're going to right click again. We're going to go back into view settings. We're going to go into filter, and now we're going to tell the computer what we want. So we're going to, you should have two of them here, which should say completed, because this one had been set up in French. Completed on doesn't exist, and end of date doesn't exist. So just leave that, or due date doesn't exist. Just leave that there for now. We're going to add some more fields. So we're going to go into the field here, and what we want to do is we want to start with a start date. So we'll just go into the date time fields and choose our start date. We're going to do a few of these, because the first thing we want to do is we want to say, you know what, show me everything that I want that has a start date that is this week. And we say add to list. So right now it's going to show me only the ones that are for this week. Okay. But we also want it to show me the ones that don't have a start date. Let's say I create my tasks in my to-do and I don't put a date. I still want them to show up here. So I will say does not exist. So the start date does not exist. Add to the list. So now let me go and see what happens when I do that. So you see what's happened? A bunch of tasks have disappeared because they were farther into the future. But I'm still seeing some tasks that are completed. So I'm going to have to deal with that. Okay, so let's go back and continue programming it. So I'm going to go back, view settings. Now you're getting the drift of this. We're going to go into filter. We're going to go into advanced. And now we're going to choose another start date. What we're going to say is we're going to say, I want the start date. And now we're going to tell it, I want the start date that is on or before today. Now, what's the logic here? Why would I want the start date that is on or before today? Well, those are the dates, the tasks with the dates that have passed. What does that mean? So last week I said, oh, on Friday, I'm going to do this task. I'm going to start it on Friday. And then Friday I got super busy. Then the weekend started and then I forgot. And then Monday I show up and oh, my task list is nice and clean and there's nothing there. Well, if I don't tell it to show me a task that's start date on or before today, when today ended up being next month, the Monday, well, then I wouldn't see Friday's task. So you don't want that to happen because that's how we forget stuff. So let's go and configure that. Okay, so here we go. We're going to configure that start date on or before. So you have to look at the exact word on or before. And here we're going to type TODAY. Make sure you don't make any typos. Add to list. Start date on or before today. And then the last thing we need to do is get rid of these tasks that are already done. I don't want to see tasks that are completed. So I'm going to go into field. I'm going to go into the frequently used field. And I'm going to say complete equals no. I want the ones that are not completed yet. Add to list. So you should have these two that usually come with your Outlook, and then 1, 2, 3, and then 4. So you should have 6 of them. So if I say okay and okay, there we go. So you see now I have my tasks for today, or for this, that are all dated up until today. And I have my old tasks that are old, and I have one that doesn't have any date. Okay, so that's good. Sometimes you might want to even think and consider entering your tasks for next week. Now, normally I would tell you to stick to the ones for this week, but sometimes when I'm doing my planning on Friday for the following week, I like to see next week because it tells me, okay, what do I have that's overflowing into Monday? But that's really up to you. So if you do want to add it, I'll show you right away how to do that. But normally I would tell you this would be good enough. So let's go and see. How do we do the next week? Well, basically we go back into our filter. So right click, view settings, filter, advanced. And here we say date time, start date, next week. And we add to list. And that would show us exactly that, what's to do next week. But I could close it. So what I usually do is I really just focus what's today. Now I know this one was done, so I can knock that one out. And I might have already done stuff that I forgot to mark as done. So that's a whole different ballgame. We're not going to focus on that today, but I just wanted to show you how we add next week. We're going to do one last thing that's not necessarily evident. We're going to go into the start date here, right click, view settings, and we're going to go this time into the format columns. Because what we want to do is we want to make sure that our start date is in this format here, instead of being in the long one, because usually when you start, you either have it, most of you will have it like this, and that ends up being, really takes up a lot of room for no reason. So you want to go right click, view settings, format columns, and in the start date column, you want to bring it short, but you also want to center it. And you say, okay. And before we leave this menu, we'll do one final step. What we'll do is in the other settings, you want to make sure that this here, yours says 125. And so what happens when you have it in 125 is that you have to open it real big for it to give you the columns you're looking for. And that makes for a really big dashboard. And as soon as you reduce it, you see how everything kind of disappears and it's really not very pretty. So that's why you want to go right click, view settings, other settings, and bring this down to 50. And then when you do that, okay, see what happens? You still keep your columns no matter how small you go. So that's a really nice way to keep it nice and compact. Now, once you have exactly the size you want it and you're comfortable, you're like, you know what, this is a good size for me. I like how it presents itself. I can read everything. It makes sense. You should close your Outlook and reopen it. And usually by doing that, it'll actually just send the information to the server and say, this is how this Outlook wants to be presented. Sometimes you don't need to do it, but hey, it takes a few seconds to do. You close it, you reopen it, and your dashboard will be there. Again, when you don't want to see the dashboard anymore because you want to focus on your agenda, what do? You simply press the X here, right there in the corner, or you just go and click your tasks, and now you have your whole agenda. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I thank you very much for watching. And like always, see you on the next one. So, was that neat? Did you learn a bunch of stuff? And are you just like completely pumped about what you can do now? Because now you got more time on your hands and more relaxed moments in life so that you're not so stressed and overwhelmed. That's the whole point of all of our videos. So we know we hit the spot. We know we can help you, and please remember to check back in here, hit that like button, hit the bell. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. And we'll be coming out with more videos, more tips and tricks to show you how to be more efficient with technology or without, because efficiency is our middle name. Thanks for watching our Improov channel. Again, I'm Sandrine. Have a wonderful rest of your day, evening, night, morning, whatever time it may be. Bye for now.